In this video, I'm going to show you the exact path that you need to follow to get your first role in GovTech. I'm going to break it down for you step by step so you can go from having absolutely zero experience in GovTech and zero technical experience to landing your first role in GovTech, which is the best tech sector to work in. And I'm going to explain it exactly in this video. This is the exact framework that I used to start my career in GovTech at 16 years old with just one tech certification and earn multiple six figures per year. You never have to worry about job security and able to travel the world while working remotely. And it's the same framework that I've also given to thousands of other people that have started their GovTech career, where they were able to go from hating their previous job and being underpaid for what they're worth to earning six figures per year in their first role. So stick around until the end, close all your other tabs, grab a pen and paper. I'm going to break down every single thing that you need to do in order to get your GovTech career started. So the first thing that you need to do to get into GovTech, if you have no tech experience whatsoever, is learn your foundational IT skills. And I want to make this very clear. You're not going to go straight into cybersecurity unless you are in school for cybersecurity or you already have a clearance. So let's just focus on the basics first. So with these foundations that you're going to learn, it's going to help you land an entry-level GovTech role, which would be roles like help desk, IT technician, IT support, and IT analyst. So to land these roles, you want to learn foundational IT information. You want to learn the basics of computers. You want to learn the basics of software, hardware, networking, virtualization, and you definitely want to learn how ticketing systems work. When it comes to these entry-level GovTech roles, I always like to tell people that if you can follow directions and you've had customer service experience in the past, you can utilize your transferable skills from whatever it is that you're doing now to get into these GovTech roles. For learning these skills, you can use different free resources like on YouTube. Professor Messer has a lot of free information. He's got free CompTIA A+ courses that you can watch, and I do not recommend you to go get the CompTIA A+ certification, but you can learn the information to learn your foundational tech skills. There's also free labs that you can go through on YouTube as well that teaches you about ticketing systems, teaches you about remote desktop, and also how you can use virtualization tools like VMware. If you learn these softwares, you'll be good to go in your first GovTech role. Now, when it comes to the certifications that you're going to need to land these entry-level GovTech roles, I highly recommend that you get the CompTIA Security Plus certification. And then a lot of people are going to wonder, well, Simone, why are you telling me to get the Security Plus if you're telling me I can't go straight to cybersecurity? When it comes to the Security Plus certification, it has nothing to do with cybersecurity in terms of GovTech. It has everything to do with this certification being valued by the federal government and government contractor companies, and it allows you to work different roles that are going to give you full access to government systems. If you've ever ran a program on your computer as administrator, or if you've ever used root before, if you've been on a terminal, that is when you get root access and you are able to do literally anything that you want on the system. When you get root access, is also known as privilege access. So with the government, for you to be a privileged user, you need to have the Security Plus certification. And that's why it's so valuable, and that's why I recommend it. It's going to be enough for you to land your first GovTech role just by getting the Security Plus and learning these foundational skills. And if you want to learn how you can pass your Security Plus, I have a completely free video right here on YouTube that shows you exactly how to pass the Security Plus certification. And I'm putting the video up on the screen right now, so you can go watch that video after you watch this one in full, so that way you can know how to pass the Security Plus in one try without spending all your money doing retakes. We don't want to waste any money here. We want to be as efficient as possible. Now, let's say you're somebody who's a little bit more ambitious and you want to go after higher paying roles, because those entry-level GovTech roles like help desk, IT support, IT technician, you'll get paid anywhere from $50,000 to $75,000 a year. But let's say you want to jump straight to six figures. You can do it, but it's going to be even more work. So if you want to get into these roles that will pay you six figures or close to six figures with no tech experience, you're going to need to get two different certifications. These two certifications that you're going to need are the CompTIA Security Plus certification and the Red Hat Certified Sysadmin certification. Now, when you combine these two certifications together, it's going to allow you to land Linux system administrator roles. So you're going to want to be looking for junior level roles. And these certifications are going to allow you to have root access to government systems. And the Red Hat certification is a 100% hands-on cert that's going to show that you are able to do Linux system administrator tasks. And these two certs are literally the most valuable for people who have no tech experience and want to get into GovTech quickly and get to six figures as fast as possible. And one one of the reasons why I also love this combination of certs is because if you do want to get into cybersecurity, Linux is one of the foundations of cyber. Also, when it comes to pretty much how everything operates in GovTech, almost all systems run off of Red Hat Enterprise Linux, which is what you learn with the R8CSA certification. So literally, you're going to be building a very strong foundation for your career if you get these certs. Now, you might be wondering, how long does it take for me to get these certifications? If you have no tech experience, the Security Plus certification, you can get it within 60 to 90 days. I've seen some people that really grind and put in a ton of hours and they get the Security Plus in 30 days. And then if you already have tech experience and you're just trying to transition into GovTech, you definitely can get the Security Plus just in 30 days. Now, when it comes to the Red Hat Certified Sysadmin certification, this certification can be a complete beast, depending on how well you can pick up Linux, how much time you put into practicing and labbing and just spinning up your Linux virtual machines. It's going to take you anywhere from 4 to 8 months to get the Red Hat Certified Sysadmin cert. Now, again, that's the cost of going straight into six-figure roles, is that you're going to need to spend more time on your craft, spend more time learning the technical concepts, spend more time learning how to become a Linux system administrator and getting your Security Plus. But to me, it's 100% worth it. One of my previous students, Stefan, he was able to get his Security Plus through my program, and he went into Yellowtail Tech and he got the RACSA certification, and he landed a six-figure Linux sysadmin role with absolutely no experience. He had a background as a cop before he even got into tech, no experience whatsoever. So literally from cop to Linux system administrator with just the Red Hat certification and the Security Plus, and this role paid him about $106,000 a year, which is amazing for your first tech role. So if you want to get the Red Hat Certified Sysadmin certification, I recommend two different options. You can sign up for the O'Reilly $50 monthly subscription, where you get access to Sander van Voot's Red Hat training that he has on there. Literally, it's just $50 a month, but again, you're gonna have to teach yourself everything. Or you can sign up for Yellowtail Tech if you're looking for a more hands-on program, a program that's literally gonna walk you through everything, be there for you, hold your hand along the way. They've got an apprenticeship program, and they also help you with career search as well. So if you're interested in looking into Yellowtail Tech, you can book a free call with them. I'll put the link in the description below. So when it comes to getting hands-on skills to get your first GovTech job, I recommend that you use TryHackMe. TryHackMe is a great place to go. They have a lot of different free labs that you can go through, and with these labs on TryHackMe, you'll start to get more of that hands-on experience and hands-on practice that you're looking for. But I will be completely honest, when it comes to the most entry-level GovTech roles like help desk, IT support, you really don't need a ton of labs. You really don't need a bunch of projects. All you really need to do is show that you have the skills and that you have the knowledge to be able to perform the job. So if you have the right interviewing skills and you prepare the right way, you'll be able to still land jobs without doing a bunch of projects like a lot of other people suggest. A couple of other sites that you can use to get some hands-on experience is Hack the Box and also letsdefend.io. Those are two other places you can go to get some hands-on practice and do some hands-on labs when it comes to getting some of these entry-level IT roles. And really the nice thing about tech is that you can really find any hands-on lab that is going to give you the practical skills that you need right here on YouTube. So you literally could go onto YouTube and you can type in Linux System Administrator Lab, and you will see a bunch of different people walking you through different Linux System Administrator labs and practice questions that you can walk through and learn the hands-on skills while they're doing it completely for free. And some people might be watching this video and saying, hey, I already have the certifications. I have multiple certifications and I still can't land a job. And this is why career development is extremely important. Just because you get the certifications does not mean that you have everything else figured out. You still have to have your LinkedIn figured out, your resume figured out, your interviewing skills figured out, how you're actually applying to jobs. Your entire career strategy has to be figured out as well. And if you don't have these key things figured out, you're going to have a hard time just even landing job interviews. So you got to make sure that your resume is tailored to the jobs that you're applying to. You also need to make sure that you're spending at least a week preparing for the technical interviews that you're going into, especially if you have no tech experience whatsoever. When I first started out in my tech career, the technical interviews were the hardest thing for me because I didn't know how to prepare for these interviews. To prepare for technical interviews, what I always recommend is that the job description that you already got the interview for, use that as a cheat sheet. You can use that as a guide to know what type of questions the company is going to ask you when you're going into the interview. interview. So the easiest way to do this and the easiest way to prepare for technical interviews is literally use ChatGPT. There's nothing wrong with using AI to prepare for technical interviews. It's actually the best way to prepare, and it's what I do now in my career, and I'm 16 years in. To prepare for these technical interviews utilizing ChatGPT, what I recommend is just for you to use a very simple prompt. If you already have an interview coming up, you can go into ChatGPT and say, I have an interview coming up for the job title here, and here is the job description that I copy and paste right into the prompt. And once you copy and paste this into the prompt, you then want to say, help me prepare for this technical interview and give me 5 to 10 situational questions that they might ask as well, and tell me how my resume and experience stacks up to what they might be asking me. So then from there, you would attach your resume to this prompt, and then you will have a full technical interview plan, and you can dive deeper into preparing for this interview and continue to ask ChatGPT the questions like, hey, I need to brush up on some of these skills that are listed here on this job description. Help me with a deep dive and crash course into this technical information. And it will literally give you everything that you need. You can even take it a step further and say, hey, I don't really have any hands-on experience with what they're asking for on the job description. Can you create a lab that I can go through so that way I can perform well on this interview? You want to make sure that you're spending a bunch of time going through your technical interview. Do mock interviews with other people that are around you, or just talk into the mirror and do a mock interview by yourself. But whatever you do not go into the interview unprepared. You do not want to go in there saying, I don't know, to half of the questions. So make sure you do as much preparation as possible. You can also utilize ChatGPT to help you with your resume and your LinkedIn as well. And it's very simple. You literally just drop your resume right into ChatGPT, tell it what type of jobs you're looking to apply for, and it can help make you a more tailored resume. And when it comes to your LinkedIn, literally do the exact same thing. You can copy and paste your LinkedIn right into ChatGPT and ask it to make improvements based off of the type of jobs that you're applying to. And if I can give you one LinkedIn tip, don't ever put aspiring. Just tell them exactly what type of role you're looking for. Doesn't matter what job you're doing now. Let's say you wanted to be a Linux system administrator. Put Linux system administrator in your job title. Don't put aspiring. I see it all the time. Aspiring cybersecurity analyst, aspiring cloud engineer, aspiring software developer. Do not do that. It shows the recruiters immediately that you don't have any experience, and they're not going to want to interview you. So always make your resume and your LinkedIn for where you want to get to, not where you're already at. So now that you understand how to make your resume, your LinkedIn, and also how to prepare for technical interviews, let's talk about where you actually need to go to apply to these GovTech jobs that are going to be sponsoring government security clearance. If you aren't familiar with what a government security clearance is and why it's so important in GovTech, a government security clearance is basically a more in-depth background check that the government does on you to basically determine if they can trust you with classified information and government secrets. What I always like to tell people is, if you already have TSA pre-check, or you have global entry, or you've ever had a TWIC card, you have a good chance of being able to get a clearance. Now, none of those are government security clearances, but you go through a similar process to get those same type of identification background checks. So when you're going to go look at GovTech roles, you'll see a lot of roles that will already say that you need to have a government security clearance, but there's also a ton of roles that will sponsor you for a government security clearance. So how this process works is you will go and apply to a job that's sponsoring you for a clearance, and once you apply, do the interview, and then you start the job, they'll put you through the clearance process. And then some jobs, they'll start the clearance process before you even start the job. So that's how you can get your clearance before you even get started in working in the GovTech job. So that's how you get your clearance before you even get started working the GovTech job. But most of the jobs that you apply to will be the standard government security process of you starting the job, then filling out the clearance paperwork, which is all digital now, and then waiting for your clearance to come through as you already start working the job. And there's a huge myth out there where people think that you can go out there and buy a government security clearance, or they think that you have to join the military to get a clearance, and that's definitely not the case. Clearance jobs, they put out a report that said that about 50% of people that have clearances have never even served in the military. It's just that most people have no idea on how to find these jobs that sponsor clearances. And myself, I was able to get my government security clearance at 18 years old just by working a IT help desk job, and they sponsored me for my clearance. I never served in the military, and that's something a lot of people think about me. They think I'm a previous vet. I'm not. My dad was in the Air Force, but I've never served. I actually ended up going to get a tattoo when I was back in college, so that way I couldn't even join the military military. That's back when they had all these different tattoo requirements and it would make you ineligible. But yeah, you know, long story short, I'm not a military veteran, but I do know a lot of military vets and current service members. So it's probably why a lot of people think that I'm a previous vet as well. So when it comes to job sponsoring government security clearances, it's a very simple process. And I want to make this clear. There's a few different ways that you can work in the GovTech industry, and that is being either an employee for the federal government or being an employee at a government contractor company. What I'm going to teach you in this video is how to get a job with a government contractor company, because they hire pretty quickly. They only do one interview typically, and it usually takes about 2 weeks to get hired on average, versus the federal government where it could take anywhere from 4 to 8 months. So if you're trying to get a job quickly and you want to get paid well, the federal government is just not going to do that. And I'm saying this as a previous federal government employee. They just don't pay that well, and it's going to take you a long time. So if I started over and I was starting everything today, I would only focus on government contractor roles. So for you to find these job sponsoring clearances, what you want to do is go to clearancejobs.com. This is where almost all government contractor companies will post their jobs at. Once you get to clearancejobs.com, what you're going to do is search ability to obtain. Ability to obtain is basically the phrase that you're looking for, because most of the jobs will say must have ability to obtain government security clearance. So once you end up finding these jobs that say must have ability to obtain clearance, you can then apply to the jobs. And I know a lot of people, they get caught up on seeing the years of experience and the degrees. Anything under 3 years of experience is considered entry level. Everybody has transferable skills, so lean into those and still apply for the jobs. Another thing that's unique to the GovTech industry as well is that when you see degrees, a lot of times these government contractor companies, they can go to the government and say, hey, we really like this candidate here, but they don't have a degree. Can we get a degree waiver? And 9 times out of 10, the government will say yes. So do not let years of experience or degree requirements stop you from hitting that apply button. Inside of my community and my programs, I have a complete database of jobs that are sponsoring government security clearances. That is something that is not out there. I literally have only jobs that are sponsoring clearances to make it super easy for you to find these jobs to get your first clearance. All right, so now we've covered resumes, LinkedIn, interview tips, and where to find the jobs at. And let's just assume you've landed your first GovTech job and what you need to do to be really successful within your first 30 days on the job. To be successful in your first GovTech job, I highly recommend you come into the job, you start learning how the organization works. So meet everybody on your team, talk to your management, and then you also want to focus on learning the technical infrastructure and the environment and the overall program that you're going to be working on. So every single program that's out there has what's called a CONOP, which is a concept of operations. And you want to make sure you look over this document. You want to ask your team for any other technical documents that they have that they feel like will be useful for you, and just do as much learning as possible. You don't want to come in and just seem like you don't know what you're doing. Make sure you have a notebook, make sure you're taking notes, make sure that you shadow your coworkers so that way you can learn as much as you can in your first 30 days. And then if you get to a point where you feel like, hey, I need to brush up on some of this stuff that they're talking about at work, I don't know about this technology, I've never used this tool before, use this time to go home and practice labs that you can find online on YouTube, so that way you can be the strongest technical professional you can be. And understand as well that it's completely okay to ask questions to your coworker, but before you ask questions, always Google and look for any documentation that you have first. So if you do all of these things within your first 30 days, you'll have no issues on being a GovTech professional and getting your government security clearance. And that's exactly how you land your first GovTech role. I'm sure that if you follow everything that I laid out in this video to a T, you'll be well on your way to landing your first role in the matter of a few months. But of course, there's a lot of personal circumstances that will change how you take all this information and apply it to your situation. For example, where do you live at in the US? What skills might you have had from previous jobs? Your goals, how to set up your profile specifically on LinkedIn. Also, particular questions that you might need to practice on the interviews, any other special certifications that you might need to get that might be unique to your situation. You see, there's a lot that goes into this and a lot to think about when it comes to figuring out all of this on your own, even with all the information that I've given you in this video. It can definitely be really stressful figuring out how to put all these pieces together, especially if you don't know what to do. You just don't know how to do it. And I've seen it time and time again where the stress of how prevents prevents people from getting what they truly want in their GovTech career. That's why I created an affordable GovTech course that comes with a community called the GovTech Blueprint, where I help people on a much closer level to take that what and turn it into reality by helping them step by step. It's the same course and community that's helped Damien land 4 different GovTech job offers without having any tech experience. Miss Bay, she landed a GovTech role that sponsored her clearance without any tech experience either. Jacqueline, she landed her first 6-figure role after being laid off for a year. And Bayshawn, he landed his first ever GovTech job that's 100% remote with absolutely no tech experience. And this is just to name a few of the hundreds of people that I've helped land their first role in GovTech. And there's tons of information inside of the GovTech Blueprint. I cover literally everything that you need to know from A to Z about the GovTech industry. I also show you exactly where you need to go to apply to jobs, how to get sponsored for a government security clearance. I walk you through the job application process. I also show you the foundational IT skills that you need to learn with labs that I've created that are inside of the GovTech Blueprint as well. And then when it's time for you to get your Security Plus certification, all of the Security Plus information that you need is inside the Blueprint as well. Every single week, I post a list of entry-level GovTech jobs that are sponsoring clearances, and one of my GovTech coaches is reviewing LinkedIn's and resumes every single week. We also have a monthly community call where I help coach you in your GovTech career with any issues that you're facing. You'll be able to follow the GovTech Blueprint step by step, taking you from where you are now to landing your first role in GovTech in half the time it took me to figure it out on my own. So if you're ready to join the GovTech Blueprint community, it's the first link in the description below. Click it now on the page and I'll see you inside.